بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا إنك سميع مجيب الدعاء. ومن يعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ونفس لا تشبع ودعاء لا يسمع. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. جزاكم الله خير for all coming. ما شاء الله تبارك الله. Alhamdulillah, so the timing was definitely more convenient. It's just the change and it takes a little bit longer. So alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put barakah in our time. We really need to finish 5 minutes before Isha. So we have about 45 minutes, alhamdulillah. So this is, what class is this in what Muslims we should believe in or must believe in? What number is this? Who said that? I didn't hear it. Can I have the youth answer? What number was it? Oh, not the very youth. Like, that's number 6. Said we believe in Allah, and we did 2 about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And tu'min billahi wa malaikati. We talked about the angels, right? We talked about books. We talked last week because we did 2 about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then the angels, and then the books. And last week was the prophets in general. So this week, I'm going to take you through, and I really need your heart. There is not much knowledge, there's a lot of knowledge, but that knowledge will not benefit you unless you give me your heart. I need you to focus on what I'm going to say. Some of you probably will hear this for the first time. So we're going to talk about Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. I'm not going to talk about Seerah. I'm not going to talk about the battles of Uhud and Badr that you all should know, hopefully, or at least you've heard. And I'm not going to talk about where he was born. I'm not going to talk about his wives. What do you think I'm going to talk about? Who is he? Who is he? Who is he? How did he look like? How long was his hair? How did he sit? Alayhi salatu wasalam. And every time I'm going to say he, you all have to say alayhi salatu wasalam. Don't forget this. You will lose your way to Jannah. من نسي الصلاة عليه فقد ضل طريقه إلى الجنة. The words that in this meaning he said, whosoever forget to say salat wa salam alayhi, peace be upon him, he lost his way to Jannah. So if you want to have a direct GPS directly to Jannah, don't forget to say alayhi salatu wa salam. So the first thing, this is a beautiful book we're actually currently teaching. I did a course before. Maybe I will do another one because it's a lot of people who really wants to learn this. It's called shahadah al-Muhammadiyya. Most of you know it in Arabic, but this is translated, and it's translated very well, actually. It's called a commentary on the depiction of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. So what is this book? Quickly, so all of you will be with me. Imam al-Tirmidhi, who's a very famous Imam of Hadith, collected everything that was said about Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam as a human being. How did he look like? Was he tall? Was he short? What is his hair? How did he sit? What did he eat? And this is the whole book about it. And every chapter includes every hadith, whether he, and Imam Tirmidhi, put it in his book or the other scholars of hadith did. So the first one I'm going to share with you, because we all need to know who is a Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. When you go to the Quran, you don't learn a lot about Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Am I right? It's not like this, like Sayyidina Musa. There's nothing about his birth, alayhi salatu wasalam. There's nothing about his family, right? His wives are mentioned, but there is no details, right? Just his wives are the mothers of the believer. Nothing in detail as other prophets. Like Sayyidina Isa, you know everything about his birth or his mother, but everything else is in the Sunnah. The Sahaba, the companions, loved him in a way legendary. As one of the companions described the love of Sahaba to Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, that when he did his wudu, you know what they did? They jumped to collect the drops of the water that comes from his wudu. This is love. You know, when you love someone, they are eating and you jump and just get whatever comes, and you said, no, I'm going to eat it. It came from their mouth. This is the love. I mean, there's so many things about the love of the Sahaba. Sayyidina Abdullah, Amr ibn al-As, I think it was Amr ibn al-As, not his son. Yeah, I think Amr ibn al-As. When he became the governor of Egypt, he was asked, describe Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam for us. And you know what he said? Does anyone know? People of Egypt. They said, I can't, because I never looked at his face. I can never look at his face. Subhanallah. You know, when you love so much somebody and you feel so much emotions, what do you normally do? You lower or you put your eyes somewhere else because you just can't. And he said, I couldn't. I just can't look at him. SubhanAllah, that's the love, the level of love that they had for him. I'm not going to ask you what's the level of the love we have. May Allah forgive us. This is, as I was reading this, I said, Ya Allah, just forgive me. So the first one I'm going to share with you, description of him, alayhi salatu wasalam. Some of you, if you went to Turkey, there's a museum in Turkey. I think it was in the museum. And this hadith is actually framed. And this hadith, the description of him, alayhi salatu wasalam, was done by Sayyidina Ali. So Sayyidina Ali, and since I know there's a good number of you who speaks Arabic, so I'm going to read it in Arabic. Extremely sophisticated Arabic. You're not going to understand the words. I'm giving you like a heads up. So سيدنا علي بن أبي طالب قال كان علي إذا وصف الرسول عليه الصلاة والسلام قال لم يكن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بالطويل المغط ولا بالقصير المتردد وكان ربعة بين القوم لم يكن. Now from here, good luck if you're going to understand the word. لم يكن بالجعد القطط ولا بالصبط كان جعدا راجدا ولم يكن بالمطهم ولا بالمكلثم وكان في وجهه تدوير أبيض مشرب أدعج العينين أهدب الأشفار جليل المشاش والكتد أجرد ذو مسربة شأن الكفين والقدمين إذا مشى كأنما ينحط في صبب وإذا التفت معا بين كتفيه خاتم النبوة وهو خاتم النبيين أجود الناس صدرا وأصدق الناس لهجة وألينهم عليك وأكرمهم عشرة من رآه بديهة هابه ومن خالطه معرفة أحبه يقول ناعته لم أر قبله ولا بعده مثله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So let me translate for you. Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib said the following. Whenever, this is the grandson of Sayyidina Ali, he said, whenever Ali ibn Abi Talib used to describe Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, he would say these words, nothing else. What is it? The Messenger of Allah was neither very tall nor very short. So he was not 7 foot, and he was not 5 foot. They didn't say how tall, but it's in between. So neither very tall nor very short, but of a medium stature amongst the people. His hair was neither very curly nor completely straight. Rather, it was in between. He did not have a fleshy body or a full body, meaning overweight. He had a round face. His face was slightly rounded. His skin color was white with some redness. He had extremely black eyes with long eyelashes. He had large joints and broad shoulders. There was no hair more than the normal on his body. And he had a thin line of hair running from the chest to the navel. He had thick hands and feet. When he walked, he lifted his legs with vigorous, and his steps were firm and strong, as if he was descending down a slope. When he wished to look behind, look at this, let's all learn that. When he wished to look behind, he would turn his whole body and not just the face. And the commentary is very nice. So that's out of his etiquettes. He gives full attention to the people behind him. He doesn't do this. He turned the whole body, alayhi salatu wasalam. He was the most, now his character. He was the most kind-hearted, and tolerant person ever. He was the best to spend time with due to his awe-inspiring character and his kind treatment. Anyone who came across him unexpectedly would become awe or stirred by him. And whoever came to know him and with close contact with him would love him. One who describes him can only state, I have never seen anyone like him. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Alayhi salatu wasalam. We need to read this. We need to know this. This is our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. This is the one who, because of him, you and me are sitting here. It's because of him there's something called mosque. Because of him there's something called Islam. Because of him I and you are guided. Alayhi salatu wasalam. And I'm going to take it, there's a lot, but I'm going to take you through some. How was his hair? What color? It was black. How tall? Was it tall? Was it short? What's average? What's average? Can I ask the people upstairs, please? Assalamu alaikum. Ladies upstairs, can you please take care of your children? I don't know if they heard me. Can someone kindly go upstairs and tell them? Or can you close the door then? Because there's a lot of interruption. We're talking about the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. And when are we going to stop talking? SubhanAllah. So how tall was his hair? Yes. Say that? Okay. So shoulder length, there's many ahadith about it, but I'm going to give you the bottom line. And who described his hair? Sayyidah Aisha, of course, his wife. So there's many ahadith of that, but they said that the bottom line, she said the first one, she said, and this is actually Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik, he said his hair was up to half of his ears. Then Sayyidah Aisha, she said, no, his hair was somewhere in between his earlobe and the shoulder. So scholar says, how do you do that? So this is completely two different people saying completely two different things. And of course, the scholars with their hearts with him, they said, what is the big deal? She saw him when his hair was long, and he saw him when his hair was short. Done. The interesting thing, he never cut or shaved his hair, except only 3 times in his life. Shaved at all. It's only 3, never shaved or cut. It's only 3 times. And when was that? In Hajj 1, and in Umrah, and let's see how much you know. Well, he did Hajj once, and then there is Umrah once, and there is when he was going for Umrah in Al-Hudaybiyah, and then he didn't go for Umrah, and you all know the famous story where he said, that's it, we're going back, and they refused to take off their ihram, the Sahaba. No, we're going to Mecca. Who gave him the advice? Salama, his wife. He went to the tent and says, they are not listening to me. My people are not listening to me. Oh, can someone charge the computer? It's going to die. Please. So he came to her. That tells you what a wife is in the life of her husband. But you have to be Muslim so that your husband will ask your opinion. And he went back and says, I told them take it off, and they refused. The Sahaba, first time, they refused to follow his order. And she didn't say, how dare, look at your teaching. She said, you take off your ihram, you shave your hair, they usually Ramadan, how many women will be upstairs? Maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5. And Ramadan, this masjid will be packed. What happened after Ramadan? We did not stay steadfast. So this, to the Rasul والسلام, came and said to him, فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ, stay steadfast as you were ordered. وَمَنْ تَابَ مَعَكَ, and those who are with you. And he said, this verse gave me what here? And the other surahs, yes, because it all talks about the Day of Judgment. الواقع, المرسلات, عما يتساءلون, the Shams al-Kuwirat, is not about the Jannah. There is description of Jannah, but it's what happens at the time, which we're going to talk about it in the next 2 weeks, what happens before the Day of Judgment and on the Day of Judgment. Exactly. And it happens right now, what do I do? And you. So he definitely had a light here, alayhi salatu wasalam. What did he do? Did he ever wear new clothes? New clothes. Did he? Of course. But not every day. And I'm not going to say more. What did he do when he put on a new clothes? He, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he said, and this is also the hadith, whenever he put a new clothes, سَمَّاهُ الْإِسْمِ, he called this by its name. So you have a new scarf, you have a new abaya, you have a new coat, you have a new skirt. He calls it by its name. And then he turns to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he said, look at every single detail. He is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every single step. And he said, Allahumma lakal hamd. Ya Allah, all praise to you, because you made me wear it. As'aluka khayr, I ask the best in this cloth. Wa khayra ma sunya ala, and the best that people who made it, what is the best thing they made it for? I want that. And I seek refuge from the evil in it and the evil that it was made for. When he put every time, he had a new clothes. So he did have a new clothes and he made the dua. The reason I'm sharing all this with you, because that's what we need to learn. Not only to love him, but to follow. How did he eat? What did he use? Spoon, fork, his hands. All his hands? Right hand. All his right hand? How many? 3. And you all need to train yourself. It's very easy. Of course, for solid food. Of course, not for soup. But for solid food, it's very easy. If you can do, we all brag about we know how to eat with sticks. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. But we don't know how to eat with 3. I had people look at me and say, can you do with the 3? I was like, oh yeah. And then when he finished, what did he do? He licked them. And these days, you lick your fingers? See how far we are? How far we are from him, والسلام. And he was asked, why? They asked him, like, why do you lick your fingers? What did he say? He said, the barakah in here. The blessings of the food is in here. Whatever is left in these fingers, on these fingers, is full of blessings. Let's see how many of you this week, and I really ask you, and I will ask the mothers before the girls, do it. Maybe you don't want to do it in public because people are not used to it. Okay, I understand this. But why don't you do it at home? Why don't you eat with your 3 fingers at home? Why not? Why don't you train yourself? And the only reason you're doing it is because Sunnah. Because he did it. I learned about him. I want to follow his footsteps. And that's what he said. Always think of this ayah. قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي. You really love Allah? Follow me. So he ate with his 3 fingers, alayhi salatu wasalam. Now this is another beautiful hadith describing him in general. And this is a Sahabi asked another Sahabi, his name is Hind. And Hind kana wasrafa, Hind was very good in describing people. So they said to him, Sufli mantak Rasulullah, describe how he spoke. See how they were so keen on learning about him. And we are, and I'm talking to the adults before the youth, so keen on learning so many things. Am I right? But if I ask you now, before I read this hadith, how did he speak? Did you even ever read about how he spoke? Are you really keen on learning about how he spoke? The answer is, I want to hear it. So let's hear. Bismillah. And I'm going to read the English because it's a long one. So he said, this is Al-Hasan from Hind, and he said, describe for me how Rasulullah talk. And he said, the Messenger of Allah was in a continuous state of worry. He was taking things serious. He wasn't taking this life. I'm not here just to have fun, or enjoy, or eat, or drink, or go out with friends. They described him as he was in a state of worry, constantly thoughtful, thinking. He was thinking. And his mind was never at rest. You know why? 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 Because he was worried which college he's going to go to? Or he was worried when I'm going to be 16, my mom and dad will buy me a car? Or he was worried because his daughter is going to get married or not? What was he worried about? Us, you and me, young and old. Are they going to follow me? Are we going to learn? Are they going to get to Jannah? One of the most beautiful hadith, the meaning of, and actually it was read here last week, he described us and him. And please listen to this one. He said, me and you, he alayhi salatu wasalam, and you, is exactly like a pit of fire. And you are all going to that fire, just like the moth goes to the light. And I am running after you, pulling you away from this fire. Did you understand what he was saying? He was so worried about you and me. And if I get to Jannah, nothing is going to add to him. And if none of us get to Jannah, nothing will be less for him. But he was worried about each one of us. Ummati, ummati. All the prophets, and you know this, when he went for Isra, all the prophets were worried about their people, about themselves and what I did to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and maybe I didn't do what I need to do, except him. He said, ummati, ummati, you and me. And how much you are worried about him, and how much you know about him, and how much you follow the Sunnah. And please forgive me, how many of us, when I say or you say, let's pray the Maghrib, the 2 rakat after Maghrib, you will run and say, it's Sunnah. And how many of us jump after our phone after the Salah and look, and there's nothing important. And then whatever this distracts you and you leave the Sunnah. He was worried about you and me, that he holds us back from fire, like them, because we are all going by the way we are acting, the way we are doing, the way we are going away. But he's worried about you and me. So he was always in a state of worry. Then he said, how did he speak? He said, he would remain silent for a long time. And he would not speak for no reason. He never jumped if somebody didn't ask him. You know how we speak? Somebody say a word and 5 people answer. True or false? He never, he's a Rasul. Everybody would want him to speak, right? They collected the water from under his hand. Imagine if he spoke. But he didn't, unless there is a need. He used to begin and end his speech, والسلام, with the name of Allah. And his speech was concise and comprehensive. I want you to spend a little bit of time about this, young and old. If I want to tell you something and you want to tell me something, you go on and on and on and on. Am I right? Listen, let me give you the whole story. He didn't do that. He didn't say, I went at 7 o'clock, I left the house and closed the garage, and then I drove, and there it was dark and all. It was concise, to the point. Why? Why? Why should we not speak all the time and speak to the point? Anyone, young or old? Yasmin, yeah, I didn't hear your voice today. Allah, did you hear me? If you speak too much, it will put you in trouble. Which is absolutely true. من كثر كلامه كثر خطأه. Sayyidina Umar, he said, the person who speaks too much, he will make a lot of mistakes. And the person who makes a lot of mistakes will make a lot of sins. So speak less. So he was concise in his speech. He kept pauses between each sentence and word. He takes a breath. There was no exaggeration in his speech. You see us? Did you see what happened? Did you hear? And all the body talks and the tongue talk and the hand talk, he did not. There was no exaggeration in his word. This is for everybody, especially the youth. Do you all want to be like Rasulullah? Show me hands. Do you really want to be like him? He was not rude. He was not rude or unkind. Nor did he disgrace anyone. He didn't say, you, what is this? Nah. He always glorified and appreciated the blessings of Allah in his words. How are you doing? Don't tell me fine. Don't tell me good. Don't tell me kwaisa. I want to hear only one word. Alhamdulillah. And Sayyidina Umar used to walk and ask people, how are you this morning? And people answer differently. Till someone tell him, Alhamdulillah. And he said, that's why I was asking, because I want to hear this word. So learn it, adults before the youth. When anyone asks you, just say Alhamdulillah. I always say this to the youth. Fine, good. I said, what is fine, good? I don't understand this word. Alhamdulillah. So he always, alayhi salatu wasalam, appreciated the blessings of Allah. Look at this one. And he never criticized food. This needs all lecture. Don't look at the youth. Don't look at the youth. You know what? I'm not going to say the youth are innocent, but I'm not going to say the adults are innocent. Right? We praise our cooking, and what do we say about the others? You answer. He always glorified and appreciated the blessings of Allah. And he never criticized food or drink, even when it might be very minute. Never. Even if it was a little bit of a comment. Never. He did not criticize food or overpraise. Nobody cooked like you. I'm even worse. I am the best person to do this. Now, not only you praising me, I'm praising myself. He never did that. Never did that. Alayhi salatu wasalam. He was never, this is going to be, get ready. Before I read, what makes you angry? Youth, what makes you upset? Other than Yasmin. What makes you upset? Anyone? You never get upset, mashallah, tabarakallah. So the angels are in the homes. What makes you upset? Huh? Yes. Can we hear, please? Can we listen? Yes. So when her sister gives her too much work, right? Or when your mom asks you to do the dishes, empty the dishwasher, right? If your husband calls you and says, I have 10 people coming to the house in 30 minutes. I'm not going to go on and on because you all know. But let's see what made him angry, alayhi salatu wasalam. Look at this, please listen to this. He was never, this is a Sahabi, this is a companion describing, they don't exaggerate. He was never angered for anything of this world. Never angered for anything of this world. However, if someone transgressed the limits in religious matter, he will not calm down until he averted, until he changed it. Talk about it. What do we normally do? Exactly the opposite. It's not my business. I am not going to change the world. Let them, somebody else say it. She's going to get upset with me. She's not going to like me. It was exactly the opposite. This world means nothing to him. Mali wal dunya, that's what he said. What do I have to do with dunya? My relationship here, alayhi salatu wasalam, my relationship with this world is like a traveler. Traveler came in, rested under a tree, and then went. But when it comes to Allah's rules and boundaries, and each one of you, mothers, daughters, young, not very young, don't answer me, ask yourself, when was the last time you were so upset because someone disobeyed Allah in front of you? Don't answer me, I don't want to see the hands. Because this is not about you, it's about you thinking. And if you got upset, what did you do about it? How many of us will go to that person in a gentle and a nice way, in the right time, and advice? Verse says, it's not my business, I'm not going to change the world. He was exactly the opposite. Only time, and this is in more than a hadith, they said, we've never seen him angry, except when the boundaries of Allah was transgressed. He would not calm down until he averted. He neither became angry for a personal matter, nor ever took revenge for himself. Never took revenge for himself. And look at you and me. If someone say a word against us, I will never forgive her. Just wait and see how I'm going to give it back to her. Don't we do that? Don't we do that? Where are we from him? Alayhi salatu wasalam. If he wanted to make a gesture or a point, now his body language. If he wanted to make a gesture or a point at something, he would do with his full hand. Whenever he was surprised by something, let's all learn this, let's follow his footsteps. When he was surprised by something, he turned his hand upside down. What? Like this. He would turn his hand upside down, and when he spoke, he moved his hands. He moved his hands when he spoke, so he used his hands to make points, alayhi salatu wasalam. He would hit the palm of his right hand with the inside part of his left thumb. I can't do it because I'm holding like that. So this is the right hand, the palm, that's the palm. The inside of the thumb, he put it like that to make a point. Alayhi salatu wasalam. He would hit the palm of his right hand with the inside part of his left thumb. When he became angry with someone, everyone, when he became angry with someone, he would direct his attention away from that person. When he got upset with someone, and you all know the famous story of Abasa wa Tawalla, right? When he was talking to the dignitary of Quraysh, and the blind man came in, right? And the blind man, Abdullah ibn Maktoum, he didn't see, he was blind, he didn't see that there was people around the Rasul and he kept asking him. And the Rasul did nothing, just his face changed, and he turned to them. And that's when Allah said, Abasa wa Tawalla, you frowned, and you turned your back, because he was blind. And he was unhappy because he interrupted him. If someone interrupted you, young and old. Alayhi salatu wasalam. When he was happy, he would gaze down. SubhanAllah. He didn't laugh loud. He didn't make noises. Oh, is it? Okay. It's 8:15. It's 8:20 the adhan, isn't it? Okay. طيب جزاك الله خير. Please forgive us. Okay. جزاكم الله خير. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Whatever we learned, alhamdulillah, let's practice it. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه تسليما كثيرا.
جزاك الله محمد.